Hello, 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 party people. From me and my oldest baby. Hello, hello. It has been a little while since I have released a new podcast episode, so it's nice to be back. And to be honest, I was pretty burnt out. I haven't taken a true vacation since before COVID. And spoiler alert, I still haven't. But I definitely crashed and just laid in bed and went shopping and cooked a lot of food. And that was exactly what I've needed. And so I really do think that it's important for all of us just to honor our energy, because sometimes if we don't, then we will just randomly crash out of nowhere and it will just happen, and it will take us by surprise. So honor your vibes, rest. Okay, friends, so welcome to the Secrets of a Witch podcast with me, Sabrina Scott, where I talk all about life, love, healing, magic, witchcraft, mediumship, spirituality, and feminine energy, and everything in between. And today I feel inspired to talk about something that is pretty simple, but I think it takes a lot of people a lot of time to really take this on and to see this as, first of all, as reality, and then second of all, to see this as completely okay. And so as I was pondering this episode, I was like, did I already talk about this? And there is an episode somewhere in the late 40s or early 50s of the episode numbers where I think I talk about not everyone's going to get you, and that's okay. And so this episode is a little bit of an extension of that. And the topic for today is not everyone is for you. And I think this is actually great. And as we get older, at least as I've gotten older, I know some people don't, they get older, but they don't actually change. They just become more entrenched into adolescence, mental and emotional adolescence. But honestly, this has become more and more true to me as I've gotten older, that not everyone is for you. Not everyone is for me. Actually, most people are not for me at all in my personal life, I've been doing a lot of socializing, a lot of networking, meeting new people, a lot of going out over the past, year or so, and I've met a ton of new people and gone to group events full of strangers and just met new people, gone to events alone and met people and blah, blah, blah. And I think part of what I've learned is that, most people, while there might be nothing wrong with them per se, we're just not compatible as friends, as dates, as lovers, as acquaintances, as whatever. And that is totally fine. That's actually awesome. And I actually think it's really cool to meet tons of people and just see who's out there, whether that's in a dating or networking or friending perspective, because when we see how we feel around certain people, how we react to people, what certain people bring out in us, we can kind of get to see who it is that we want to be, right? Which is pretty fucking cool. So you might notice that around some people, you feel like your best self, charming, gregarious, chatty, happy, joyful, confident. And you might notice that around other people, you actually feel really insecure out of nowhere, even though that's not really your usual default energy. You might notice that you drink a lot more, or maybe give in to some of your vices that you're trying to kick when you're with certain people. You might notice that some people bring out your vulnerability and your honesty, and other people you might find yourself lying to or just omitting the truth. And I just think this is all so good to slow down and observe and just touch in with ourselves and see, okay, is this working for me? How does this feel? Is this a them thing? Is this a me thing? Like, what is going on? And I just find people so fascinating, which is why, like, no matter how many times I'll go and meet new people in various contexts, even if I don't get a new date or a new friend out of the situation, it's still like, I use every single opportunity to learn a lot about myself and also to learn a lot about other people. And I think that's really wonderful. And so I don't really see any of this social mixing as a waste of time or a waste of energy or like whatever. And I actually feel like whenever people do feel that way, it's really, really negative, and it shows a scarcity and fear-based mindset. And like, I just really can't vibe with that personally. It's like not my thing. And I think as we get older, as we move more into self-growth, which I highly recommend, and everything that I always talk about is all about self-growth, there's actually less and less people that we're compatible with. And at first, this made me really bummed out. Like, I think this is something I realized maybe back in like 2019 or something. And it's been a ride, but you know what? Like, I highly do recommend it to everybody. And so when I see folks in connections or relationships or friendships or whatever, where they can't be themselves or they can't grow or that growth has to be hidden, it always makes me a little bit sad because I know it doesn't have to be that way. I recently read this amazing book. This is now one of my top 5 favorite books, and it's called Radical Honesty. And I think a lot of people have taken this phrase and completely misunderstood it and misapplied it to basically just mean like being like too blunt or like being an asshole or just like saying whatever rude thing and just like saying it's okay, I'm being radically honest so I can just say what I want regardless of consequences. But the book is not really about that, right? It's more about being honest with ourselves about who we are and what we want out of life. And I really fucking agree with that. And as you guys know, if you've been following my work for a long time, integrity is my top number 1 value. I value that above all else in all aspects of my life. And I've lost a lot of relationships because of that, and I'm completely fine with that. Because for me, there's something that's more important than integrity. And one of my favorite phrases in this book, and that's one cat hissing at another cat, gotta love it. One of my favorite phrases in this book is he talks about how when we live honestly, when we're honest with ourselves and honest with others, integrity can't help but be our norm. And I just could not love that more. Like, I think it's very true. And I think back to, you know, the connections that I've had, whether it's friendships or dating or whatever that hasn't worked out. And it tends to boil down to either it's compatibility, not a fit, or if there's a fit in other ways, it would be incompatible values. And incompatibility would often be in the question of integrity. And there was always, if I can think back, dishonesty as one aspect of that lack of integrity that I noticed in these folks. And yeah, sometimes when we're radically honest with ourselves and other people about who we are and what we want out of life, when we're fearless and courageous to be who we want to be and live boldly, yeah, some stuff is going to change. Right? We're going to lose some shit. We're going to also gain a fuck ton of things that are amazing, which is why I recommend this to everybody. But I think a lot of people, you know, even if we take the topic of integrity off the table, a lot of people are very dishonest with people in their lives. And I think that's sometimes out of fear. I think sometimes it's due to other stuff, fear of the truth, fear of other people's reactions. There's an often overdeveloped sense of responsibility that some people have towards others, which I think is a big problem. And one of the other things in this book that really stuck with me that I think is very true and something that I've kind of conclusion I've come to on my own regardless, but he just phrased this so well, and he talks a lot about how a lot of people don't make it past mental and emotional adolescence. They just stay there forever. And I think that's so true. And I think most people, probably 80% of people are there. And I think the other 20% is able to kind of encounter this like death of the self multiple times in their life and become reborn again and again and be transformed. And it's very, very liberating, honestly. And so when we're in that adolescent state forever, we're compatible with a lot more people, right? Because a lot of people are just swimming in that. Stagnant, the same as always. And so I think in order to live life in a radically honest way, in a way that honors the integrity of who we are, I think we also have to accept that we're going to be compatible, authentically compatible with way less people. And I think if we want to live a good life, we have to be able to be okay with that. And that's what growth is all about. So that's the episode for today, my friends. I just wanted to throw a few words, ideas, thoughts, musings out into the void with the hope and the desire that it lands well for you, that it has inspired some thoughts, some reflection, some questioning in you. That's what we're here to do. Open our brains. So happy waxing crescent moon. The moon looks fucking awesome right now. I love when it is so tiny and right at the cusp of more and more growth. So I love that. Make the best of this stage in the moon. It is just fucking awesome, awesome, awesome. What else do I want to say? I'm on Instagram break until August 15th or 16th, and it has been amazing. Honestly, I love Instagram, but it's also just so nice to just take a break from that. So you can follow me on Instagram at Sabrina M. Scott, but I am not going to be on there for another 3 weeks. You can also send me an email. That is where I will be available at ceo@sabrinamscott.com with any questions that you might have about coaching, one-on-one, tarot readings, any of my courses on magic and tarot, anything like that. And of course, you can check out my books. They're available on Amazon. Just look up my name, Sabrina Scott. My books are called Witch Body, Curse and Cure, and then I recently released a amazing tarot journal, which I've actually been using every day, and it's fucking awesome. Like, I started my day with it today. Usually I do it in the evening, and I just feel so fucking like full of energy and just jazzed about reality. So I highly recommend it. It's just called the Daily Pull Tarot Journal, like getting to know the cards, something like that. It's on Amazon. Check it out. It's a huge fucking thing. There's 365 pages for you to fill in. So I've been doing a few of them per day, but what you could do is just have it as a yearly companion and do one every day. But I highly recommend it. Like, I'm fucking loving it and using it myself. And the whole reason I made this tarot journal was because I wanted it for me. Like, I know how I read. I know the questions I ask every day, and I love being able to refer back in one fucking notebook exactly what all of my tarot readings are. So check it out, Sabrina Scott Tarot Journal. Look it up on Amazon. There's hardcover and paperback. And of course, if you're into a cozy hoodie for these chilly summer nights, you can check out my merch at shopsabrinamscott.com. Anyway, that's it. I'll catch you guys on the flip side, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, morning, evening, whatever time it is for you. Bye, friends.